As of November 17th of 2024, there are currently 46 volcanoes which are actively erupting around the planet, a total which is the exact same number as were erupting last week. One of these erupting volcanoes, which produced the second largest explosive eruption of the 20th century, is Guatemala's Santa Maria volcano. The aforementioned powerful eruption in 1902 left behind a giant scar in the main mountain, from which a flank lava dome complex known as Santiaguito has grown ever since. Santiaguito has been continuously erupting since 1922, producing repeated volcanic eruptions which often generate pyroclastic flows. And now, here are this week's top volcano-related news stories. In Alaska, an elevated level of volcanic earthquakes has been striking underneath the Little Sitkin volcano for several weeks. This is somewhat unusual considering that this island volcano has not produced an eruption of any kind since 1828. Meanwhile, in the nation of Papua New Guinea, new uplift has been detected at the Rabaul volcano, likely signaling the influx of new molten rock into its existing magma chamber, thus increasing its odds of an eventual eruption. And in what is this week's top story, Lewotobi's large and destructive eruption in Indonesia continued, with its most concerning event involving the expansion of a lava flow towards a nearby town. The basaltic andesite lava flow in question began during the afternoon of November 10th, quickly advancing downslope at a rate of 72 meters per hour. This rate thereafter declined due to the decreasing slope the viscous lava was flowing over, declining to 30 meters per hour. The lava eventually forked into two branches due to interacting with a local high point in terrain, but soon came to a complete halt, thankfully sparing nearby structures. However, an even more significant potential problem developed during the evening of November 12th. A dramatic uptick in tremor began at 6 p.m., indicating that a plug had formed in the volcano's magma conduit. Loud rumbling soon became easily audible in a 14-kilometer radius, occurring alongside continuous tremors that everyone could feel. Then, at 11 p.m., the plug that had formed burst, but thankfully no catastrophic eruption occurred. Instead, a more than 500-meter or 1,640-foot-high lava fountain was generated, showering an area within 1,000 meters of the Laki Laki Cone summit with numerous lava bombs, and generating a moderate plume of ash which rose to an elevation of 15,000 feet. A crisis had seemingly been averted. New data regarding Lewotobi's destructive November 3rd and 4th eruption also came to light, revealing that the numerous thrown lava bombs the eruption ejected up to 11 kilometers away had a composition of not basaltic andesite or basalt, but rather andesite. It appears that before the eruption occurred, the fresh batch of basaltic magma pushed up existing at-depth andesitic magma since it was the least dense material present. It then pushed the andesite into the top of the magma chamber and then into the magma conduit before being explosively ejected. However, now there is another potential problem at Lewotobi, as heavy ashfall and pyroclastic flow deposits on the ground are still quite loose. Since periods of heavy rainfall are expected during the next 3 days, large amounts of this loose material could be swept downslope, generating damaging lahars which are most likely to strike existing drainages around the volcano. Meanwhile, in Papua New Guinea, there has seemingly been a change in activity at one of the nation's most potentially dangerous volcanoes, Rabaul. As, at its Toravor cone, new ground deformation has been detected, resulting in a portion of its edifice being raised by 5 to 7 centimeters. This uplift started in January, likely owing to the influx of a new batch of magma at 4 kilometers depth. However, I do want to give some context that due to Rabaul's fairly massive magma chamber, the volcano experiences fairly frequent episodes of uplift which seemingly occur about once every 3 to 5 years. A similar episode of unrest occurred in 2021, and that did not result in a new eruption occurring, since Rabaul, as of today, last erupted in 2014. And in Alaska, the last 4 weeks have seen an increased number of earthquakes occur in the vicinity beneath and surrounding the Little Sitkin volcano. Whereas normally less than 2 earthquakes would occur there each week, recent weeks have instead seen between 5 and 10 quakes occur. Now, this isn't too much of a sustained increase, definitely not worthy of raising this remote volcano's alert level, but I think is worth keeping a close eye on if it continues at this elevated rate. Here is a quick list of all the world's volcanoes which are currently erupting. Additionally, here are some volcanoes showing signs of unrest which are not erupting as of the recording of this video on November 16th of 2024. As a final note, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube.